Hello, Randomania, and welcome to what should be an excellent Lali-Ho League bracket race featuring a round of 32 matchup between penguin8r and pk4787. The early rounds of our bracket have served up some excellent races so far, and I wouldn't be betting against another barn burner, as these two races are among the best the community has to offer. My name is Twisted Flax. Joining me tonight on restream duties is Gundam Pilot Spaz. On tracking duties, we've got Tybalt. And joining me in the commentary booth, we have Cappy. How are things going?
Things are going well. How are they for you?
Doing pretty well. I've really enjoyed watching the this stage of the tournament so far. I think we've seen some excellent plays, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some more tonight.
I completely agree. I think these new flag sets that came in with the brackets have made for some really challenging decisions and some really interesting matches altogether.
100% agree with you there. Before we begin, I just want to point something out really quick about this round of the tournament. The round of 32 is a best of 3, but you'll see that despite the stream title correctly indicating that this is indeed race 1 between these two competitors, penguin8r already has one of his little dwarves lit up, indicating that he's already won a match. That's because penguin8r had a better record than PK during the Swiss portion of the tournament, so penguin8r enters this match with a 1-win advantage. However, PK is an excellent runner, so please don't think he can't overturn this deficit.
Yeah, these two have a little bit of a history going on. They actually faced each other in the Swiss rounds. penguin8r came out on top there, but I'm sure that PK is looking to topple him.
Absolutely. And in addition to our traditional 3 objectives of have Coco forge the sword with the adamant, complete Cave Magnus, and trade away the pigtail, we've got a boss hunt trying to find Leviathan. And we have to find an old man, but not just any old man. We've got to find a Tella.
Yeah, and it looks like they're starting with Iridia, so that should be interesting, especially if they can find a good summon off the bat.
With these flag sets being operating under the T Pro, treasure is very hard to find, and more than any other character, Iridia really depends on what kind of treasure you can find. If you can get a good heroine rogue with a decent weapon, or if you find a Sylph summon, she can carry you through the first part of the seed. But if you can't find anything like that, she's basically good as an anchor.
Yeah, so really, this all comes down to if they can find something or if they have a helpful second character. Otherwise, it might be a little bit tough to get started.
Yes, I'll be very interested to see what kind of second character we have, as well as what other characters are available around the seed on Mount Hobbs, for example. I'll also be very interested in seeing what kind of route they take very early on to loot this seed, try to get their treasures, because, like I said before, we are on that T Pro flag, so a lot of the places that you would normally go to early on in the game really don't have very good treasure. And if you want to play at a very high level like these two runners, you want to loot as little as possible. So it really becomes a question of trading quality for quantity.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people going to Castle Eblin to start out with, and we'll see if anyone does that or they go to Waterway, and it looks like we are getting underway.
Joining Iridia tonight, we have another character, another Palom. So it's going to be 2 black mages, but for a very helpful third character might be on the way. We do have a Sand Ruby start.
And a free boss at Baron.
Not terribly thrilled seeing such a free boss on location. I really want to see King Queen Evelyn at a more difficult spot, but still, it's good to know that they're there.
Definitely. And I assume that both runners are probably going to check the bed just because the third character is good. Unfortunately, there's no dupes now, so if there's Iridia or a Palom there, they're out of luck.
The really nice thing would be if you can find an Edge or a Fusia. So it's also 2 characters that are gated behind key items, and the bed check here in Kaipo with the Sand Ruby indeed is a key item, so you could find one of those characters that you normally don't get early on in the game. It does look like penguin8r is going to hit Mist Cave and do the quick check here for Leviathan or a Mist Dragon.
Oh boy, they're going to be glad not to have to fight that guy.
That's one of the best ones you want to see out of the pool. Don't have to deal with. It is a Yang here, so that's kind of nice because you don't have to necessarily worry about finding good equipment for Yang. As long as he gets his levels, he will get his power. On the other hand, early on in the game, he really doesn't add too much to your party, so we're still kind of stuck for a strong character early on.
Yeah, it's still it's a warm body for now, and that's sometimes all you need.
The shop here in Kaipo is stacked. Cure 2's, Cure 3's lives. Get an extra 2. Of course, our runner's only starting with 21,000 gold. That is a random number in this flag set. You get somewhere between, I think, 20,000, 70,000. So they roll pretty much on the low side. And treasures sell for 0. So the only other money you're going to get is from fighting enemies. So we'll see if that's going to impact things.
Yeah, but PK is not afraid to spend it, though. He bought a Fire Claw for Yang, and that's pretty much all his gold for the start here. But you do get gold still from fighting monsters.
Meanwhile, since we did stop by Kaipo, it makes sense to hit this watery pass since there is no key items here. There is a decent amount of equipment here that has a slightly higher tier than on average in the overworld. So you can find things like, an Ether 2, which will come in handy later on.
Yeah, the way that... Oh, a Zeus Gauntlet is a pretty nice pickup. That's going to be useful later on.
That is an excellent find. One of the best in slot for melee characters. And also Grimoire could come up very nice if you're hurting for damage, like this party seems to be hurting for damage this early.
Yeah, they started out with a good stack of J items to use, and you're going to want to get those out of the way quickly because they're going to lose power very quickly in this seed.
You got a couple of interesting weapons here. I think I saw a decent hammer for Sid and got a fire sword. Stuff that will get you going if you can find the characters you can match with. And I think PK is going to take a peek on Hobbs, hoping to find one of those characters that can give you some extra power early on here.
Yeah, looks like he's skipping the summon, though. Doesn't want to check that, doesn't want to use up the time. But it looks like penguin8r is going to see what that is, because Rydia, instead of getting Fire 1, gets a random summon.
This is excellent. You got a cane, so you can use that fire sword. You got a quote-unquote free boss with these dark imps.
And a Mist Dragon for the Hobbs summon.
Well, you're going to want to find the Mist Dragon at some point in the seed, but as a summon, meh.
And PK takes out Rydia. It looks like his intentions are pretty clear there.
Right. Rydia is one of the best true anchors because of her base low agility to start off. I think she has agility of 4, so that will see your characters get to relative agility 1 very quickly. And with Palm coming online here, okay, those level 2 spells, that will help out a lot as well in the early game here.
Yeah, it looks like penguin8r found a black belt while looting Hobbs, and I also saw that Yang started with a Thunder Claw, which is probably one of the better claws for him to start with.
Absolutely, that Thunder weakness of so many bosses, it seems, in this game can get hit when you put that Thunder Claw onto that the Yang. So that's an excellent item to start with. Add that to the Fire Claw that penguin8r picked up as well, and Yang will be able to hit a lot of bosses' elemental weak points.
Yeah, and for those of you who are wondering why PK just went straight to the right to go through the Fabul Gauntlet, you may not realize this, but PK is not a huge fan of Antlion Cave.
Antlion Cave is traditionally one of the first places you hit because it's the place with the key item that has the weakest boss behind it, but if you want to try to fade that and save some time, maybe wait until you have access to the exit spell. It can really be a play that goes in your favor.
Ooh, they got the dolls are at the Fabul location. I don't know if they have enough items here to be able to get them all down in time.
Well, I know, I believe PK used that Grimoire early to take out Dark Imps. I don't think they have any of the other massive AoE items, but it looks like they are charging up their paladin with the bluff, so hopefully a couple bluffs and a level 2 spell will take care of all the dolls here. As long as you can keep one doll of each color up, it will not transform into the Calbrina. So as you have as much time as you can to sort of charge up, as long as you can heal through it. However, you see that sometimes a Fading Antline might not be the right answer, as we find D-Mist.
Oh boy, yeah. So this is the bonus round. We get a free item for completing the boss, and then we get another item for just for knocking down our D-Mist dragon from Rydia's mom.
And yeah, penguin8r has no problems now that Palom has those level 2 spells online, gets through Mist Dragon without it going into its mist form. Only gets an apple for his troubles, while PK picks up a darkness crystal, so we know on the face of it which choice might have been the right play. But we still have to go to Mist and see what Rydia's mom has for us.
Yeah, and then PK gets to decide whether or not he wants to go to the moon. You do get a free character from there, and you can see what's the boss of Value Cave, and also see what that gated shop has, which, because we're on S standard still, could have sirens or Bacchus wines or any number of useful things.
That's absolutely true. And we see PK doing some extra looting behind here in the throne room here. These treasure chests are not usually checked at this flagship. I know he's already spiked a samurai bow, which is a really nice bow. So it seems to be paying off. And penguin8r finds a Baron key here after being the Mist Dragon. So that's another place where that might be gating our underground access.
Yeah, and we already know that the first fight in Baron is completely free. So there that oh wait, PK is not listening to his own advice. If you've seen a Z Sprite.
You're on one-on-one race, you have to go against what the other person thinks you're going to be doing. So if they think you're going to be Fading Antline, maybe you just go right for it.
Yeah, well, he will be pleased to get that Baron key. Maybe not so much the apple, but at least it's out of the way.
Now, the early Darkness Crystal brings up some very interesting possibilities. I've seen a lot of runners on these flag sets go up to the moon early and take a couple of the more non-standard grinds to get some early levels on their characters, maybe a reaction grind, or maybe if they find a siren, pop it, and if they have a way to kill, like a gold dragon fight, they can get a lot of experience very early. We don't know if this is going to be a magma key or a hook seed. So if it is a hook seed, a move like that could definitely bring a lot of early power to your characters to help get through that potentially difficult route to the underworld.
Yeah, I know that the kits we give start with at least one siren, possibly two if you're lucky. So they do have that in their back pocket, but on the other hand, the party they have right now probably not going to want to grind too much with it.
No, definitely not. But if you're in a situation where you just need those extra levels for a difficult boss, like I said, on a hook route, it is definitely in your favor to do it. And penguin8r gets through those Cal side of the dolls. I think it was up to 3 of them, so I was very happy to see get them all taken care of before Calbrina could rear her ugly head.
Was that the Magus sisters in the waterfall?
I do believe so. So neither the waterfall nor Mist Cave has either of the bosses we're looking for. Leviathan still at large.
So while they're kind of checking things that the other has already done, what do you think about get Tella for an objective? Are you glad to know that Tella's in the seed? Are you more like, okay, fine?
Kind of more, okay, fine. Tella has some very interesting properties. He's the Swiss Army knife of mages. He can give you lots of early access to exit and blink. When you get up to Mount Ordeals, he'll give you all the decent utility spells, things like weak as well. And if you find a Soma drop, you can even get him to Medio. But if you want strong power, he's not your person. If you want really strong heals, he's not your person either.
But if you do want anchoring, and you don't have Iridia, he is still decent at that too.
Absolutely, that is true. And if we do find an early Tella and we have the Darkness Crystal, I mean, D-Machine.
Yeah, that's a lot less attractive given the flag set here with the no exit from the giant.
No, that's absolutely true. That seems to have been removed from the meta for the most part, because now you have to, if you enter the giant, you've got to leave the giant the hard way.
Looks like, I think that's a Porum on the in the Baron Inn.
Yes, that is. That's also a Kainatsu here. Definitely not a bad spot to find Kainatsu here with only about 450 hit points. Yeah, it'll go down very quickly.
And he's gone already.
As a potentially nasty boss out of the pool, so how about another potentially nasty boss in Ruby?
Yeah, we got some leg today. Meanwhile, we got penguin8r going up to the moon and checking out that shop up there. Oh, wow.
That's a 1 in 9 shot to hit the Bahamut summon from the Grimoire. And you'd think that would take him out, but needs a little extra help from Palom there with the Ice One.
Oh, a shiny rock. Not useful for progression, but it is required for Objective 1, so good to have.
That is true. We're still missing our path underground, so we still have that Baron Key lookout. We still have Mount Ordeals to hit as well.
Yeah, and let's see what we've got on the moon here. It appears we have a duplicate.
Well, since the no duped flag is on, that means we can't have 2 Iridias. So penguin8r's opting just to reset out. We'll have to go through that cutscene again if we want to hit the lunar subterranean, but for the meantime, we're just going to wander on over and see who is hiding in Cave Valley. This is always a fun check to do early on, because if you happen to spike a really free boss here, this could be a great place to get some extra levels as well and get a key item that your opponent may not wander over and look at themselves, as well as do a little extra looting.
A Drain Spear would be nice if they find an edge later on, just because of the darting value of that.
And it looks like PK is going to be following penguin8r up to the moon very shortly.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all. He knows that there's a free character up there. Could be a good character because it's gated. That's a Sura over at Bahamut.
That is not a boss you want to fight at this point, at this time of this party. Keep that in the back of your mind. You can certainly get through Asura without terrible difficulty, but you're going to need to build up your levels a bit more. In the meantime, we do see PK is going to go up to the moon, while penguin8r is going to go the opposite way and go back down to Earth.
Yeah, probably going to do Baron Ordeals, maybe Baron Castle, depending on what they're feeling like.
That's right. We do know that there is a free boss in the first spot there, so if you think you can take on the boss that is on the throne, sight unseen, it may be a good shot to do that right now.
Yeah, and then watch there be like a wyvern or something there hanging out.
It's always one of the nastier spots to find wyvern because you have no warning before you step right into the fight. That's what's there. And you probably haven't gone back and saved after the first fight.
Yeah, well, usually you just go through because why bother?
Exactly. Looks like just silk webs and ether ones for sale. Silk webs are a decent little item there, but 3,000 a pop at this point in the seed, you might want to hold off on purchasing one, try to find something better. Ooh, we found a Sylph summon in the hidden chest on the way through Baron. That is a find for penguin8r because that's not a chest that people usually hit.
Yeah, the Sylph glitch is on, so as long as Rydia's not in the middle slot, she has enough MP to cast Sylph, she can keep doing it. Unfortunately, I don't think they've let any levels hit Rydia yet, so she can't cast it.
That might be enough to promote Rydia from anchor status.
Yeah, plus they also know that they can get another Rydia. If they dismiss this one, they can always pick up another Rydia on the moon to serve as an anchor later on.
That's right. In some flag sets, you can go back to Mysidia and pick up a character that you dismissed, but in this flag set, we have C-Buy on, so as soon as you say goodbye to a character, you can't get them back. So that was probably another reason why penguin8r decided to reset out in case there was a situation where he dismisses Rydia, but then decides he wants Rydia back, so it's another opportunity to get an extra character on his side.
Oh, well, oh yeah, according to Lord Goober here, they actually keep the same stats, so yeah, if this Rydia gains levels, they're gaining levels.
Good point.
That is something that I forgot, which is because you don't normally see someone actually pick up a dupe later on.
And both our runners are going to be going through Baron Castle at this point, with Ordeals still on the table. Obviously, our runners are choosing to do the 2 bosses out of the 3 bosses, and they don't really have the any of the characters, either Cecil or Tella, to justify going up Ordeals at this point. So it's a decent play, I'd say.
Yeah, it depends. The bosses in Baron Castle are slightly harder than Ordeals, but then again, you do get that back attack, and there can be some really nasty things there.
Right. It looks like despite picking up that, the self-summon Rydia will still be the anchor of choice for penguin8r.
And there we go, they became conscious, so that fight is over.
That's going to be a decent amount of experience for doing very little on these characters.
Yeah, that is another good reason to be going through here. Nice levels, be able to set you up nicely for Ordeals later on, if this isn't the way down.
I think we were doing some extra looting on these guys, finding a rune ring. We don't start with rune rings anymore. We started with a stack of 10 back in the Swiss flags, but nowadays, even one rune ring is a nice find.
Yeah, definitely.
And looks like penguin8r is ready to show us who is actually here, and that's the blue robe.
Let's see, is it
good? Could it be bad?
Oh boy, Baron Castle is free today.
100% free. We've got a water hag behind the king queen spot. So yeah, this was a good use of our time for our runners. PK is opting to loot the Baron treasury here. This is not usually seen outside of push me to jump flags. And with treasure like a someone drop in Hourglass 2, you see sometimes it is worthwhile coming back this way.
Yeah, that might be worth it, especially because that Soma drop can make Tella later on able to get an extra week off or something like that. But going back to the free bosses, they're going to be a little bit sad that both King Queen Evelyn and Water Hag are out of the pool for later on.
That is true. I mean, obviously, you do like to see those free bosses and then more difficult boss, say, on the moon if you need to start diving the moon. But at this point of the sea, when you're still a little underpowered, you're happy to see them in this spot. We do find an Edward here in Castle. penguin8r will take him because it has a spot open, but since we already have our anchor seemingly taken care of, and the spoon flag is on, so there's no reason to keep to expect Edward to put on lots of damage at any time soon. I would imagine he's going to be trading him out as soon as he can.
Yeah, Edward has his uses, but probably not in this particular seed. But yeah, so far the characters have been a little underwhelming. We know there's a Tella as well, but they're probably hoping they can get someone slightly better soon.
That's absolutely true, but I have faith in these runners that if they did have to go to Z with this party of Kane, Young, Rydia, Rose, Palmemporum, they would have no problem making that work. And it's a crystal ring in the pot, as we saw on Penguin8r's side, and we'll soon see on PK's side. Not a key item, a decent bit of gear though.
Yep, so it looks like Ordeals is our route to the underground today.
That is accurate. It'll either give us the underground access or give us something like the Earth Crystal, which will then chain into Earth to the underground access. We do have access to the Barren Basement, of course, but in the in this flag set, you cannot find your only route underground locked behind there.
Right, just like we can't also find it on the moon.
And Penguin8r is going through the fights at the Barren Inn that PK went through a few minutes ago. We'll be getting the character here, the Porum. You know, it looks like PK is going to take a peek at the boss in the basement, see if it's something that he can get through at some level.
I kind of like this. You get the knowledge, you know what it is, so you know maybe what you're dealing with later on, and it could be something that you could beat.
Especially because he does have an hourglass in his inventory that he got from the treasury here. So, you know, a fight like either the guards fights, not the door fight, not the door fight. Reset quickly. Reset. Yeah.
Now, if PK did have the Eddy, consider that.
I think it would be possible to, if you use Edward Hyde, that the wall would hit itself enough so that it would kill itself at that point. So I do think that would be a possible play, but I don't think you'd want to spend the time to do it at this point, especially because you know that's not going to be gaining your underground access.
I agree. It'd just be for the laughs.
Now, it looks like both our runners are heading over here to the last place where it could be gated right now, and that is Ordeals. PK is going to be the first to check the boss, and the first spot here finds vanilla or French vanilla. We're going to see very shortly.
That's French vanilla.
French vanilla, Mylon Z. He's just a little impatient. Comes to the first fight instead.
Yeah, that fire claw is going to come in very handy here.
Yes, Mylon has a couple of elemental weaknesses, including that fire, and including spears on Kane. I don't know if we have a good spear for Kane. I think he's using maybe that fire sword at this point. But at any rate, it's not going to put up too much of a struggle at this spot.
Yeah, and he's gone, so we got one boss down, 2 to go.
And we see on Penguin8r's side actually using that fire speed. I think he cast at flame to get a little extra damage out on that Miles. It's a good spot. And here's Lugay and Belnab in the back attack spot, so you know they're going to get all their dialogue out.
That's good. I wanted to see this dialogue, so phew.
On the plus side, when you do get poison from the second fight, you're going to be immediately healed right afterwards, so we don't have to deal with too much poison walk.
Yeah, and it's also not going to be too hard of a fight anyways, so you're kind of glad to see this one here.
No, the way this fight works is that you do have all, I think, 4 different versions of Lugay and Belnab, basically breaking apart or fighting up all of their HP in the spot. And this spot has about 3,000 HP. So any one of the incarnations here is going to be going down pretty quickly, especially because we do have that virus on Talum already. And there you see the lightning weakness on Belnab. 2,000 damage from that Young. Though our runners have taken slightly divergent routes at times, but they seem to have converged in 26 minutes here on the second fight here at on Ordeals. It's really, really close, as you can tell.
Yeah, they're just neck and neck with each other here. And so at this point, I don't think nobody's checked anything that the other hasn't. So yeah, we're just exactly in the same spot here.
So now the question is, are we hoping for a magma key or are we hoping for a hook?
Well, I bet they're hoping for a magma key, but I know chat is hoping for a hook.
Well, the runners get their wish. We got the magma key. It's the easy route underground.
Don't worry, chat. It could still be Leviathan over on the hook route.
And a quick Dark Elf fight is going to be in our rear view mirror very soon, and we're going to be going underground in just a minute. So this is shaping up to be a very they're going to be very neck and neck going to underground, obviously, and it'll be interesting to see if they continue to go along the same route or we see some divergence.
Yeah, probably the first check will be that Feymarch free chest, because why not? And then they've both done Fabul, so might as well go ahead and check Yang to enable Sheila 1. But after that, well, Dwarf Castle could be option. Keyless Tower. The world's their oyster, really. They have access to everything.
That's right, especially because they do have the Darkest Crystal, so they can, if they're feeling really cheeky for some reason, they can go up to the moon and see if they can find some easy fights on the subterranean. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but it's an option.
Our tracker Tybalt is bringing up an interesting point. They might use that siren down in the underground on an egg just to get Palom to up to Quake.
Yes, that's Palom has an excellent power spike when he gets up to that level where he gets Quake, and he doesn't have it right now, but he's very close to it. And with Quake, you can pretty much get through the underworld. I'm going to say without too much difficulty. There's always problems where you can run into it, but it's a very strong attack that you can use under there.
Yeah, given this flag set, you use who you got, and Palom, thankfully, is not bad at all.
Absolutely, he's taking a slight back seat to the more melee and berserker fighters, at least in the Swiss flag sets. But in this kind of flag set, in the bracket stage, you take who you get, and you're very happy to find a Palom.
Yeah, and they'll definitely get him with the Quake. Nuke, maybe, probably not, but there's always a chance.
And it looks like PK is going to park out here in Dwarf Castle. This might be just a shop check. This might actually be a fight check, and the fact that he's ordering his party makes me think that he is going to at least look at the first fight here.
There is a character check here too, so it could be the Tella, and that's a fairly free fight, so might go in there.
It's an interesting dilemma here. Do you use one of your Star Veils to help get through this fight, or do you think you can get through this fight before he gets off the Mega Nuke? As we've been saying before, money is at a premium, so you don't want to waste the items you have. But this is a good time as any to possibly throw up a wall and let Bahamut take care of himself.
Yeah, and penguin8r right behind, going straight to the same spot.
And it looks, at least for now, that PK is trying to get through this fight without relying on the Star Veil.
Well, they've got a good anchor. They've got level 1 Rydia, and yeah, I think they have a good shot.
Absolutely, I agree. And especially with Palom doing about 1,000 per virus. We got Kane and Yang both berserked. This has a decent shot, and I think if this fails, I mean, if you don't think you have enough damage, you can still throw up a Star Veil and pour him here and win the fight that way. On the other hand, it looks like penguin8r is going to rely on the Mega Nuke here and gets through the fight quicker, but we'll see if that one less Star Veil comes back to cost him.
It is a Sparkle coming up, so that could be something scary.
And how about a second Palom? Well, of course, the game will say no.
Oh boy.
That's not nice because Palom's going to be able to get Kane back up here. Good news here is that Palom still had enough hit points to survive the wave.
Yeah, and this isn't a super high HP spot, but still, it is Ogopogo. So we found 2 of our 3 dupes in this seed, so there's a good chance that the Tella is going to be unique.
We're sort of running out of places to get characters at this point, so it is possible that we might have to have the only Tella hidden on the giant.
Which probably means that we won't see Tella.
Unless Leviathan's also on the giant, that's always a possibility.
So PK, because he had all of his characters up, managed to make it through the fight just a little bit faster.
And unfortunately, that double big wave on penguin8r's side does get through his defenses and has to take a wipe there. That is unfortunate for penguin8r. We'll see if he decides to do the same strategy of putting up a wall, if he decides to go through this fight again, knowing that the Ogopogo is waiting behind there.
Yeah, that is one of the worst fights to get there. It just, Ogo is so annoying if you fight him anywhere beyond like the first few checks. Oh, then there's a hook. Well, kind of necessary, but good to get it, I guess.
All right, and once you find a pink tail, that's objective number 3 taken care of. But as of right now, unless you're really desperate to see what's in the shops at Evelyn, which at this point can wait, and I don't know if you really want to deal with the character, might not be worth your time. Could be a Tella, of course. Would be worth your time.
They'll probably check out the character just to see if it's a Tella, but unless it's something earth-shattering, they're not gonna take them. But I saw Sirens for sale in Dwarf Castle, so we have that for our potential grind.
Yes, that's one potential hurdle taken care of. You know that you do need to get some extra experience. You can always buy more shot sirens once you have the money to do so.
We got penguin8r going back into bottom up. We'll see if the strategy changes any. While PK is going down to the Feymarch to check the bosses and the chest.
This, I think, is a pretty good way of routing the underground. You want to do as many checks as possible that are at least relatively convenient. Trying to find that pan so you only have to do one dip into the Sylph Cave and back to the Brule. And looks like PK was looting the Feymarch here, finding the one fight here that is in the treasure chest here, and takes it because he does have Quake. Takes care of 2 of them. And we'll see if this firebomb takes care of the rest. It does not.
Nope. But that was a pretty good try. Just a slightly higher roll on the Quake and could have gotten them all out. But at least he knows where the monster chest is and can go through and loot the rest of it.
Looks like he's going to take a second shot here. This is a decent spot for experience, and of course it is a trap chest, so it does have the potential to contain a really nice item.
Yeah, the only way to get a tier 7 item in this seed other than through key item checks is through a trap chest, so could be the famed crystal sword for the Cecil they don't have.
penguin8r has gotten back to Ogopogo, got both Palom and Porum up this time. through the Bahamut fight, and is hoping to have a better showing against Ogo this time, trying to bring everyone else back to life. PK does get through the warriors. Now that he did throw some extra HP on Kane, use those J items that whose strength is based upon your HP. Gets a ninja sword, potentially nice if we do find a ninja.
Yeah, I mean, not bad at all.
Penguin8r is looking to do these bluff strats against Ogo. The difficult thing with Ogo is that if you do use Badge against him, he's going to use his what is his technique? Flare technique? What it is, it's another HP-based attack that takes a quarter of your HP. If you combine that with your with the big waves, it can become overwhelming. So you must make sure that when Palom does cast a spell, it will be the last spell of the fight.
It looks like Chad is right, and then we are seeing some twin strats here. I don't know if that triggers the counter.
I don't believe it does. I think it counts more as a character ability than magic.
Yeah, looks like it doesn't trigger it, but oof, things are looking a little tight.
If Paladin casts this spell before a big wave comes out, is it a double big wave? No, it's not. I think he's going to be in the clear. Just barely.
Very good. And also Bacchus wines are in Feymarch.
It's a very nice find, obviously. You want to have your melee characters in Berserk as much as possible, and you don't have to rely on your white mages to just be casting it. So getting those, even though they might be expensive, are still very useful.
But yeah, again, holy cow! Look at that Ogo Pogo fight. Just Penguin8r, calm and calculated, just knows. Oh, I just need to get this little bit off.
It shows a lot of confidence in your abilities when you come back after a wipe and do basically the same thing. You just know that if I just make a slight tweak here, I know I can take it this time. Some interesting fights down here in the Feymarch basement. Here we've got the karate fight. We don't have a Cecil, so we can't get through the fight immediately. But we do have that Mylon, and it looks like PK forgot that we saw Mylon Z up on Ordeals. So we know that must be the regular Mylon.
Yeah, either that or they realized that they didn't actually heal before going in there.
That as well, yes. And opting to use the inn to heal, so it looks like we will take that fight. Definitely do a doable fight in that spot.
Yeah, Mylon and friends are not too bad, even if they're found on the moon. It's just make sure you don't kill Mylon before his friends, because they're a little jealous.
Incidentally, we do find a spoon down here in the Feymarch. Not the most useful items, but it is one more key item on our quest for 10, which will give us double experience.
Yeah, they're already up to 8.
And yes, looks like PK is going to go ahead and into this final fight.
Yeah, you can in fact use Quake against this version of Mylon. The other one is flying, believe it or not.
The way that Final Fantasy IV determines whether or not you are flying, quote unquote, is whether or not you're weak to air or to spears and arrows. If you are, then it considers that you to be flying. So even though Mylon Z the sprite doesn't look like a flying sprite, because he does have that air weakness, the game just considers him to not be able to be quaked.
Interesting. I did not know that. Penguin8r looks like he is skipping the Feymarch bosses. He's going to go straight down to Sylph and check out Yang.
This is an interesting diversion. I mean, seeing those fights down there, you're thinking, at least for the Mylon fight, you can definitely get through it. So choosing to maybe skip it for now, maybe come back and do that, and the karate boss, maybe in one fell swoop if you need to do it, is the play that Penguin8r is opting to make, which is a very interesting choice. I kind of like it.
actually, PK resetting. A fight did not go as planned. And now he's exiting out of the Feymarch as well, and just giving it the one try and come back later.
Fair enough. I think this situation, discretion was the better part of valor, and thinking about having third thoughts. Yeah, it looks like he's going to make another shot at it.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
In the meantime, penguin8r did go down Stealth Cave. Doesn't have the pan, but can at least get the Sheila 1 check active. So we're going to see if Sheila has at least one of the goods here.
Sheila always delivers.
Ain't that the truth? That's a twin harp. That is required.
Oh yeah, we're going to get some music soon.
So 42 minutes in, we finally have the ability to do one of our 5 objectives here. We do only need to do 4 of them, obviously, to get the crystal. So having one done is a quarter of the way towards our ultimate goal of getting the crystal, being able to beat the game.
Oof, that Mylon, just a homing arrow right to where it hurts most.
Those level ones can pack a little bit of punch here. You think just because they're level 1 spells, they're not going to be too bad, but this spot has a lot of magic power behind it. And of course, the punches are also going to do a good amount of damage.
Yeah, I think this one is going to be very close.
Looking that we have that blink up on the cannon and putting out some decent damage. You got the Palom being revived and putting out really good damage with the Quake. I think we might just have enough here, as long as we can keep some other people up.
In the meanwhile, we have, oh wow, looting Cave Magnus. This is not something I normally see.
It's a decent place to loot if you still want to get some equipment, since it is behind a key item. Well, at least you need a key item in order to beat it. The loot here is a little bit better than your average loot on the overworld. So, it's if you're still looking for some items, it's not bad. It's just a little spread out. The treasure chests are. In the meantime, however, we're going to turn it over to Eddie and see what kind of music we have for us tonight.
Yeah, we'll be quiet here, so don't mute us.
to the strains of Matoya's Cave from Final Fantasy I. Penguin8r is through that with Antline here in Cave Magnus, and we'll soon be getting that objective number 2 lit up.
Yeah, and speaking of Final Fantasy I, it looks like PK did in fact hit a bonk and found just a samurai arrow off of that Mylon fight.
That is extremely unfortunate. Not only, obviously, for all the time spent to basically get a decent arrow, but it's not even the best arrows you could get there. I mean, if you got an Artemis arrow, that opens up some grinding possibilities, but just some samurai arrows.
On the other hand, did get an X-Cal out of that trap chest. Still no Cecil, though.
That could potentially be a really nice pickup. There is an Excalibur in the item pool for key items, since the classic Forge objective is on. But still, I mean, finding that is very nice. You just have to find someone who can use it.
Yeah, PK doing a pretty heads-up play there, makes a save in front of the tower, and then goes up to check Shield 1 in case Shield 1 is nothing useful, can just go ahead and reset to do the tower. But I'm pretty sure that he'll end up going into Cave Magnus after this.
And it looks like Penguin8r is going to be raising the hovercraft, going to be able to use the hook on it to see who is hiding in Cave Evan, I would imagine. So we are still on a hunt for Tella. And Leviathan, for that matter. If we do find Leviathan, could be hiding in that hook route.
It's true, yeah, we do get a boss peek and a character check, so pretty heads-up play.
Also looking at what we have available for our runners right now, we have the entirety of the moon, which you probably don't want to do unless you have to at this point. And we have Keyless Tower, so we're kind of running out of options.
We also have karate at Feymarch as well.
Good point. Another thing that would probably be really difficult at this spot.
Yeah, things are starting to narrow down a little bit. Yeah, Penguin8r is not interested in these chests. There's one trap chest here somewhere. Better to just skip them all.
That is correct. At this point in the seed, you might feel that you have enough equipment to get through the rest of the game, and at that point, there's our objective. Hi, Tella.
Yeah, and Baigen. Ooh, wow. Good thing they don't have to do that one.
That's a pretty nasty spot for Baigen. Definitely doable if you had to, obviously, but thankfully, our runners won't have to. Could still be Leviathan in the King Queen. So that's a really nasty spot for it to be hiding. I would imagine we would clear out the other 3 objectives before anyone would ever look for it there.
And our GPS is mourning the required giant that just died there, unfortunately.
PK is going to be giving us a reprise of Matoya's Cave theme from Final Fantasy I. Penguin8r is going to be taking that Tella. I would imagine going to be using it as the anchor for their party. It's going to be a little better than the video was, a little more useful. However, we still have that issue of where do we go next? I'm guessing Keyless Towers would be our next spot, simply because I don't know if we want to do the moon or the rest of Feymarch.
All right, and then we are done with Cave Magnus for this seed. We got our required music. I'm happy.
Yes, that's an excellent rendition of it, by the way. I want to give a quick shout out to Complamity, who has been the main composer of many of the harp themes that we've been enjoying throughout this tournament.
Also, I did note that there is a Dragoon Spear there, so not a bad upgrade for Kane as well.
That's an excellent item. Definitely a endgame worthy item there for Kane. Top of tower. That is, we've already seen Water Hag. We know that's going to be a pretty interesting gauntlet fight in this spot.
Yeah, I hope y'all have some time. Yeah, so the gauntlet in this spot, they're going to be a whole bunch of fights, and they are going to resist Quake, as you can see right there.
It can be really difficult to remember which of the regular enemies resist things like that, simply because you almost never see them. So when you do run into them in a gauntlet situation like this, you sometimes have to think to yourself, okay, what does this fight look like? What are their resistances, weaknesses? And yeah, I don't remember them all. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, no, me neither. I see stone men. I'm like, oh wait, no, these aren't stone men. What are they? But wait, there's more.
Well, at least it's an alert, so you have a little time to heal after that fight. And if you can figure out a way to one-shot this, that'll also help matters a lot. It's like PK is going to be following up penguin8r, going on the Cave Outland, going to be getting Tella very shortly, and one power shot from that Thunderclaw is enough. One-shot that alert. How about another alert?
If only there was an edge. Just think of all of the sirens they could be getting. Tella is right here in Cave Eblin.
There's the old man. PK is very happy to see that, I'm sure. And there we go. We have a tofu fight.
And if this isn't some sort of progression here, they're gonna have to go down to Feymarch.
Or start tackling the moon. I'm not sure which one I would do first, honestly.
Yeah, that's actually a tough call.
Either way, I would need more levels for sure, and I would be more than happy to take this party on as my final party. So I wouldn't necessarily mind doing a bit of grinding before making my decision.
Feymarch has a karate in the Leviathan spot and Mylon and friends in Basura.
PK has already taken out Mylon and friends and got samurai arrows for his trouble, so we know that that is not going to be where progression is.
Oh, yeah. It looks like PK is decided, nah, I'm done with Earth. I'm going to the moon. Potentially for a grind, because as Chad has mentioned, we have Hourglass 2s and we have Sirens, and we also have a Tella, which means Gold Dragons are not out of the question.
Those gold dragons have taken on some very interesting properties in this flex as well, because they do provide a lot of money quickly. Top of tower, by the way, that was Vanilla Tower Key. So we've got a self-contained tower that penguin8r is going to take out as we see it's a free fight in a spot where you really don't want to see a free fight, because that is a really easy boss spot.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
PK, on the other hand, is opting to go down the subterranean, see if we can find a doable fight or two down here instead, choosing to fade Keyless Tower at this moment.
Yeah, Tower Key was vanilla.
So we'll soon see if it was worth waiting through that alt gauntlet at the top of tower to get the single key item at the bottom of the tower.
Yeah, and then we got everyone kind of holding their breath here, seeing if this tower play in fact paid off.
You know, we do see PK going bottom up, which I think is the right play when you're looking for so many key items. You're going to get those 2 key items in the ribbon room, for example. Just a samurai bow, so power was a not what we needed to do.
No, it's okay. They can take that samurai arrow they'll get from Mylon and Friends, and put that in there, and then they'll have an okay bow and arrow set.
I'm sure our runners would prefer, say, a legend sword or a pinktail.
Yeah, but you can't always get what you want.
Yeah. Penguin8r has done the shopping there. I think picked up a few extra sirens, so I think that's where the sirens were. PK has made it to the bottom of the subterranean. We're going to get our look at these moon bosses.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. It looks like Penguin8r is going to be heading up to the moon as well, at least going by the route.
Well, we've got a mom bomb there in the ribbon room. That's not a great fight to take at this point. That's going to punch you very hard.
Yeah, that's not ideal at all.
White Spear Room has CPU. Always doable. It's always a question of whether or not you want to have to deal with getting through all the hit points of CPU in the back there.
Yeah, it looks like he is gonna try. Moon bosses are some really good XP. I know that they're not at the 10 items, but still, I mean, XP is XP.
That is true, and one thing to point out is that Penguin8r did get the tower key from the top of tower, so he's on 9 key items right now versus 8 for PK, so he will tip into that double experience a little quicker than PK will.
Yeah, this is going to be a nice, slow and steady kind of thing here.
I mean, we're still trying to take out the defender orb at this point. This might take a fair little bit, because as you saw from that heal, the heal does 10% of the hit points of the spot. The CPU body actually has about 23,000 hit points here.
Yeah, now the defender orb is down, so they don't have to worry about the heal. It looks like I think I saw a float being. Did they try to get a float out there? No, might have just been my imagination.
And we are berserking Kane at this point, so I think clearly we're saying, oh, we did get the float out, or not the float. We got a link out, looks like, so that attacker orb is not going to be taking damage from the berserk Kane.
That's a very clever play there.
It just requires Kane to follow along and actually hit the right enemy.
224 though.
See, the problem is, since you do have the attacker orb up, CPU counts as being in the back row, and since we don't have a dwarf axe, we haven't had the ability to back row Kane, so CPU is going to be taking reduced damage from Kane's attacks.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a Quake coming out, so we might be seeing some Globe 199s.
It will help the damage that Kane's doing, obviously, because now CPU is no longer getting that back row bonus. Question if we can burn down the rest of CPU's hit points before Globe 199s are damage dealers. I mean, I would trust PK to be able to do it. So, but we'll see if he can pull it off.
Yeah, this is gonna be a real race. And Yang is deleted.
You prefer that to either Paladin or Kane. You got Porum to life Yang back up. So we shall see.
Yep, and Kane's down, but it looks like they're pausing on Palom so that when recover happens, yep, just Quake comes on out. Now, we've got penguin8r trying to see what these bosses are as well.
Want to welcome Randomania 3 in from with the raid to this brackets stage, Lali-Ho League, race with penguin8r and PK. We are both on a moon dive, basically looking for a lot of key items still. So we shall see if either of our racers can get lucky and find the key items they need to break this seed open.
Ooh, and yeah, man, just CPU is not giving them a good time. We got penguin8r going up against Mom Bomb, so we got some divergence, and two very rude bosses on the moon maybe have progression.
This has been very interesting because I think penguin8r took a peek at the White Spear Altar, saw CPU and reset out, and chose Mom Bomb. While, of course, PK just did the opposite, saw Mom Bomb, reset out, and chose CPU instead. Oh. So we'll see if we have some interesting strategy options here, as CPU does finally go down and gets an Earth Crystal.
The Party Rock, I don't know if that's enough to go back to Earth, but it is good to see, and it is another key item.
If we were still looking for Tella, I might be able to make that argument, but we have... I mean, it could hold Leviathan and either of the two key items we still need to get one or three of our objectives taken care of. I still want to get more out from this this moon dive before that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think it's worth going back to Earth yet, but it is at least something.
penguin8r deciding that Mom Bomb spot is a little too spicy at this point. So both of runners are instead going to take a look at the Masamune altar down here and see who's hiding here.
Oh,
Pale Dim.
Pale Dim got confused as to which sword he was supposed to be guarding, so we're down here now.
It's going to be very punchy. If we can somehow mitigate that, we do have the Dragoon Spear, and Pale Dim does count the dragon, so as you saw on PK's side, that's a 5,000 swing. So as long as we can keep PK up, or sorry, we keep Kane up, we can probably get through this fight.
Yeah, it looks like penguin8r is resetting to reconfigure his equipment, but yeah, we're going for it.
I chose the power of having the right weapon at the right time. If we didn't have that Dragon Spear, this would be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, look at that. Casual 5,000 damage.
And let's look like PK does have this fight pretty well in hand now. It's probably just a few more swings away. penguin8r has rejiggered his equipment around and is going to start this fight again. You know, if we can get that Kane rock and roll like we have on PK's side, we won't have any problem.
And there it goes. Down goes Pale Dim. Now we get to see what we get. Well, Okay.
Really nice piece of equipment, especially when you do have a Palom that is one of your major damage dealers. Still not progression though, and that's every time that we do a key item check and it's not progression, I'm sure our runners are getting a little more frustrated.
Yeah, it's yeah, you got to be feeling it. You're an hour 7 into the seed. You're still trying to get a whole bunch of key items. Do you know? Do you think either of these runners feel behind, especially because we've had a few unfortunate wipes?
Interestingly enough, I would say because PK spent so much time on that Mylon fight and got nothing from it, he might think he's more behind. I don't know if penguin8r has really spent a lot of time. Well, he did go through that keyless tower check, where he turned out to
Yeah,
do nothing as well. But I think that probably feels a little more like your opponent will do that compared to possibly fading the Mylon fight in Feymarch. So I don't know. I would expect PK probably feels he's more behind more than penguin8r feels he's behind.
it looks like PK is now retrying that mom bomb. Got some levels. Gonna give it a shot.
I mean, the good news here is that the Mom Bomb spot here is just going to punch you. So if you can get Blinks up and you've got 2 Blink casters, you won't have much difficulty here. So, I mean, it's just a matter of getting your party set up.
Yeah, any other runners, take note. If you have a Moon Veil, this is a great boss to use it on. It looks like penguin8r has his Pale Dim fight pretty well underway here. Everyone's blinked. Kane is up and hitting with the Dragoon Spear. Should be down very shortly.
Right, and you can tell he's trying to keep as many of his characters up from all those blinks, trying to get as much experience as possible on his party, because this is also sort of doubling as a very good way to get some grinding in as well, these moon bosses.
Yeah, buffing up the Palom, kind of getting that increase of the magic damage, trying to finish off that Mom Bomb, hopefully before she explodes. And meanwhile, penguin8r does finish off his Pale Dim and gets his reward.
Very nice Black Mage stick. Again, not progression, but a very nice piece of equipment. Yeah, PK is trying to get this Mom Bomb fight done before it explodes. It has a buffer of 10,000 hit points to go through when it starts its explosion script. So if you can get through those 10,000 hit points before it explodes, it'll just go away, and you want to deal with the smaller bombs, and that would be a great thing in terms of trying to speed up this fight, not have to deal with that phase of the fight.
Yeah, this is very worth it if they can beat him, just because there's 2 key item checks off of this one. So I definitely think this is the right play, even if it's not any fun.
The only drawback to this play is that this spot has a ton of experience behind it. And you definitely prefer to have 10 key items rather than 9 key items that both our runners have, but I mean, it's a minor complaint.
All right, Mom Bomb is getting ready to explode. And doesn't.
There's that, getting through that extra HP, it lets you skip that part of the fight, so I'm sure PK is very happy to see that, and gets a pass, and an inventory boss, and we're waiting to see the second item here.
Well, the pass is nice. Oh, and the Luca key, too. They're up to... they only have 9 key items because the pass doesn't count.
That's right.
But the pass is good, because once you're done with the moon, you never have to go back there again.
And, our runners are being more and more tempted to leave the moon early, now that we have both the Earth Crystal and the Luca key. Both potentially could give you what you're looking for in terms of Leviathan, the Pink Tail, or the Legend Sword. I mean, our PK still wants more, and I don't blame him, because I'd rather want to clear out this entire subterranean before chasing any of those at this point.
Yeah, and penguin8r agrees. He's going up to the crystal altar. Ooh, okay.
Not the worst place to find Val. You won't be able to get through the magic defense with Val spinning at this spot, but the physical defense it could be worse. It gets a little bonus, excuse me, but you can still punch through it.
Yeah. Oh, and chat mentioning that I in fact cannot do math because I tried to do it on Twitch, and PK does have 10 key items and is trying to do the grind right now.
Yes, and gets out I believe that was a double life glitch on that gold dragon there, so this will be a lot of experience.
Yeah, this is going to be very nice.
240,000, I think, because it's thanks to our checker tibble for running at 60,000 per, so a double life glitch gets you 4 of those for 240,000 experience points, and yeah, that's 6 and 7 levels for all your party members.
Plus the gold is nice too. Can't discount that, especially given this flag set.
Yes, the fact that we cannot sell any of our items, we don't get any gold for them, has made gold dragons, I think, one of the premier grinding options because it also gives you a ton of gold.
Meanwhile, it's a good thing that they have the cane, especially because that can get Val out of the tornado and actually let Palom do something here.
It is an interesting option because you could just berserk Kane and Yang at this spot and just have them punch away and not have to worry about Val's punches as well.
Actually, that looks like what PK is doing.
As long as Val is spinning, she's just going to punch once and cast weak and cast that stone spell. And you can manage that rather than having Val come out of spinning, punch a few times, and go back into spinning, try to manage the fight that way. At this spot, I would probably opt for berserking both Kane and Yang and just letting them punch through the spin. And as you see, they're doing 1,600 damage, 2,400 damage. That should be more than enough to get through this fight.
Yeah, it's just going to be a little bit of a grind, but at least it's not. There are more rude bosses that could have been here.
Oh, absolutely, and Val could also have been in a ruder spot.
They're going to have to. PK is going to have to heal that Kane. He's almost completely. Oh, there we go. Here's the heal. Well, again, because Val is in the tornado for PK's fight, Palom is on chemist duty.
We're getting good uses out of those blinks to make sure that Val can't hit these low HP characters. Hopefully, we can get through this fight before those blinks wear off, because, with that Torum now stone, that's not really going to be a very long-term strategy.
They could always bring back Tella and try to have him blink.
PK is through on his side, though, and we're going to see if this spot does have value or not behind it.
Maybe it does.
We have got so many potential value items from this moon dive. It's almost infuriating. You have now the Earth Crystal, you have Luke Key, you have the Rat Tail. Is that enough to make you skip the top of the moon?
I don't know. I think I would just do it. I would just go. It's a quick check, and could be Leviathan, and then But I wouldn't fault PK for going back down to Earth.
And the one argument you could make to going back down to Earth is that the rest of the checks are on the top of the moon. You don't have to go down through the subterranean to get down to those bottom anymore. You've completely cleared it out. At least PK has. penguin8r still has not done the mom bomb spot.
I missed it. Did penguin8r finish Valvalis Half?
I think that was reset. Yeah, I believe that we did not get that fight done, unfortunately. And it looks like penguin8r was just going to be. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's wrong. No, we do have a rat tail there, so he did finish it off.
Okay, yeah. And, okay, good. So
yeah,
now doing a little bit of a grind, it looks like.
Yeah, now that he's got his 10 key items, he can get these gold dragons done and get a lot more experience on his party.
Oh, hi there, Wyvern.
That is a fast Wyvern. And that is a very, very powerful Mega Nuke.
Yep, so yeah, that's Wyvern. For those of you who are not super familiar, he starts out the battle with Mega Nuke, and he's also very fast. And whenever you see him, that usually happens.
And looks like we're going to be reorganizing our characters just a smidge, and I would expect also to drop the battle speed, which will help you get a little more action in. And
yeah, we're going to full Wyvern standard time here.
Yeah.
Battle speed 6.
And throwing that that cane up there in that first spot, so he's going to move first. I would imagine the way this is going to go is that he's going to throw out a Star Veil so that Kane will survive the Mega Nuke, and since he does have that Dragoon Spear, we can get through the rest of Wyvern's HP pretty quickly.
Yeah, the Wyvern script, after he does the opening Mega Nuke, will cast Wall on himself and then just start reflecting nukes. So at that point, it's only going to kill one character at a time, so you can just kind of keep playing tag with life potions.
Gets the Star Veil off that on that cane. Looks like Porum is also going to get a Star Veil off. penguin8r is up and do the complete grind at this point. Going to get another set of gold dragons queued up, another hourglass thrown out.
It looks like the Mega Nuke actually missed Kane. Well, oh yeah, and that fight's over. Bye.
Yeah, that Dragoon Spear against the dragon type enemies will just chew through the HP levels at that point.
And we heard you liked Excalibur, so here's a second Excalibur.
We also like Paladins. You have one of those?
Maybe?
Yeah, unfortunately at this point, even if you do have that Excalibur, I don't know if you take a Cecil, if you find one, for example, at the Earth Crystal spot.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, they haven't done a full grind, but they've done a lot of one. But Excalibur Cecil is still good, so we'll see.
And especially because you do have the 10 key items, it doesn't take a lot of time to get Cecil up to endgame levels. He doesn't need a lot, just basically into the late to mid 40s, and he's good to go. So it is a possibility, definitely.
Yeah. This flag set was running Distinct 10, which means that instead of the full suite of 12 characters, we only have 10 of them showing up. So there are two of them taking a day off. We know that Tella, well, we already have Tella, but we know what most of them are. But Cecil could be one of the people taking a nap along with Rosa. Maybe they need some time off. They've been very busy this tournament.
penguin8r continue to grind here, and yeah, one of the issues with this party, unfortunately, is that you do have that Porum as your white mage. Porum's HP levels are not the best and needs a few extra levels in order to get to a point where she can safely survive a non-nerf Big Bang. Although, given these quality of both these runners, they can probably nerf Big Blinks in their sleep.
Yeah, and it looks like penguin8r is done with the grind. So this is probably just going to be blazing through the rest of this seed.
This is interesting. We've got a save there on that spot, and now warping out. So I'm thinking we're going to be doing a little bit of save scumming as well, in case we don't find value in some of these other items that we've taken from the moon.
Yeah, a pretty good play. Looks like PK is doing his version of it, and he did a save right there in front of the hovercraft.
Yep, we're going to be turning in that rat tail first of all. And seeing if this gives us anything worthwhile. How about a pan? I'd call that worthwhile.
Yeah, 2 item checks. Could be one, could be both of what they need.
And also we do still have that Earth Crystal and Luca Key on PK's side.
Yeah, but they're PK's. Yeah, he's going down to the moon, not moon, underground, because that pan check is just so fast.
Absolutely, that's like you said, it's 2 extra key item checks here. One other option that is also open for both our runners. Both of them have not done the Barren Basement yet. PK knows it's the evil wall fight. I don't think penguin8r to peek it down there yet.
Yeah. Also, one thing to note is that penguin8r doesn't have that Luca key yet. So if there's anything there, they might have to make another trip up to the moon.
There's the whack of the pan, and we're going to be seeing what the Sylphs have to offer tonight.
Not the Leviathan they wanted.
That doesn't count, does it?
That's okay. There's still Shield 2. Shield 2 had the goods. Just Shield 1 had the goods. She might have more goods.
We shall soon see, as I'm sure both our runners are making a beeline for Sheila 2 to see what is going to be the free item there, now that we have activated the pan check. And as soon as we can find it in our inventory, that's always the problem. It's a package.
Nope. That's probably going to be just put aside.
It would be hilarious if Leviathan was behind it, because that does hide a boss check. But
that's true. That's true. But if that's the case, they're probably just going to skip Leviathan this seed.
Yeah, given that we are still looking for a pink tail and a legend sword, and we still have key item checks available to us, I imagine we find both of those before we even check the package.
So it looks like we're going up to Zot.
And an hour 26 in, PK says, I don't need to even check the treasury.
Nah, yeah, we're just gonna play the everyone's favorite game. Let's fade treasury. Oh, and yeah, penguin8r also doesn't have the Earth Crystal either. So back to the moon.
Right, we still have it was Wyvern that had one of them, and we had Mama that had the other one.
Yeah, the CPU had Earth Crystal, and Wyvern had the Luca Key. Or one of the whatever. One of them had one and the other had the other.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you, Tibble. Our tracker has it right. Yeah, Earth with CPU and Ribbon Room had the pass and Luca Key. penguin8r just saw his good friend Wyvern.
and is going so far back. We're going back to that save we dropped outside of the Val spot there, and I think we're going to be trying our luck at Bomb Bomb instead.
Speaking of the moon, it looks like we have the D-Lunars hanging out in the first slot of Zot. So this was available from the start. Thankfully, it's not Leviathan. Imagine if that was there.
That's always the worst when this free spot that you never check unless it happens to be that 1 in a million shot of a required D-Mist here has the boss that you are hunting for all the time.
Do these count as dragons?
I believe they do not, so I don't think that the Dragoon Spear would do extra here. To answer your question, yes, penguin8r did check the tower, got the tower key from the top of the tower, checked the tower key, and got a samurai bow. So the tower today is unfortunately not where value lies.
We have another old man there.
That's an interesting character to find at this spot.
I mean, he does come pre-equipped with basically everything they could want at this point.
If you wanted to take him instead of either the Palom or the Porum, I would not hate it. How about a third Rydia?
Well, I love Rydia so much, I'll take all three. Except I can't.
1 Rydia per customer.
Yeah, well, that is all of our dupes out of the seed now. So any other character checks will be unique. Unfortunately, the only other character checks left at this point are the package and giant, so we're not seeing them.
Well, this is interesting. Instead of taking out either the Paladin or the Porum, PK's opted to remove Yang from the party instead, putting in the Fusia, which seems to me speaks that he's planning on doing some reflect strats for Zeromus.
Yeah, and reflect strats kind of fallen a little bit by the wayside with this tournament, so it'd be interesting to see it.
And with the Odin here, not Leviathan, unfortunately, it's a different summon boss. 1 lit 2 is enough to take care of that. So we'll see if it was worth coming up to Tower of Zot for anything more than just the Fu.
Jason Nellis, unfortunately, we already found the Excal in the item pool, so I don't think we'll see trip Excals.
There is that Legend Sword. That is objective number 1. So we are halfway home on PK's side. Just need to find either the Leviathan or the Pinktail.
Yeah. Well, they know that. They know what's in Asura. Let's see. Where could Leviathan be?
Luca Cave.
And
Giant.
Luca Cave, or the King Queen Evelyn spot. I think those are the 2 unknowns.
The Giant and the Package Boss.
Oh yes.
PK has not gone up the tower yet either. That's also a potential place for two boss checks. I would not be surprised to see him make that play right now.
Yeah, that or Luca Cave. I think one of those 2 is where he's going. Well, speaking of Luca Cave, penguin8r is going there.
We got a very aptly cocoa shop here with both apples. We also got a life staff and a ribbon. I think purchasing a ribbon there is a very smart play.
Yep, and that's objective 1 lit up for PK. And Coco says, I'm going to keep the Excal, and you know what? He can keep it today. We got 2.
Still waiting on that Cecil, of course, but at least we have a couple of very nice swords in our inventory.
And PK is following penguin8r, so we're going to see. There's a key item here, which could be the pink tail, and there's a boss, which could be a Leviathan.
It would be interesting if we were both, because that would mean that this was absolutely 100% required. And would
Yeah.
also mean we have a very interesting race on our hands.
Well, Penguin8r still needs to get that legend sword out of Zot, and he does not have the Earth Crystal. Oh, wait, yeah, no, never mind. I can't. Math is hard.
Do math on stream at your own risk. Ooh, Artemis Bow. That's not what you want to find at this spot, but we still have hope that a friendly boss can give us some value.
Nope.
Okay, so cross Luca Cave off your bingo cards. Where to next?
Probably if you're PK, Tower, and if you're Penguin8r, I don't know. Looks like he's going to Baron Castle. I guess there is a key item there, even though we know it's not a Leviathan.
That is true, and he's got all the levels he needs now, so that the evil wall is not going to be quite so evil as it would have been earlier in the seed.
And PK finds the bad news. Done with Luca Cave. Thankfully, don't have to do that long walk out.
And yes, as I expected, PK is going to go ahead and take a shot at the tower, keyless tower. We'll find the key there, and not much else, unfortunately.
We've seen everything on the moon at this point. And then Leviathan is not on the moon.
We don't know what's in Cave Valley, since neither of our runners have taken out a Sora at that spot.
Oh, yeah, we don't know the key item, but we do know that it's not Leviathan.
Got his melee fighters up and running, and is going to get this nuke out as well from the Stardust Rod holding Palom. Yeah, how about some quad nines?
Ooh,
there it is. That's a pink tail.
All right, so he doesn't know it, but he is one item away from getting into go mode.
We'd have to go back to the moon, get the Earth Crystal, come back, go through Zot, and get the Legend Sword out of it. That's still quite a ways away.
Yeah, depending upon what they choose to do.
PK, of course, has to slog through this rather interesting spot for the Alt Gauntlet. Won't pose many problems because of all the levels that PK has compared to how lower level Penguin8r was when he did it. But it's still going to take a little bit of time, especially if you're going to cast Quake against these guys. Yeah.
Yep, that's not a path to victory. Luckily, this is the only fight where they show up, and then the rest are alerts and some other stuff.
Pinktail Turn-In is a white shirt, as we see on Penguin8r's side. Nice piece of gear, especially if you are carrying that Palom along with you. Wants a little extra boost to the the Porum, a little extra boost to the white magic. So now we're going to see what Penguin8r opts to do. Go back up to the moon, clear it out, try to find the path to get to the Legend Sword, or going to do something else.
Yeah, it looks like it's the moon. So, yeah, because Penguin8r knows there's a couple bosses up there that he hasn't done yet.
I wonder if Penguin8r was just thinking about maybe doing a cheeky giant check, seeing if we can find that Leviathan in the first spot there.
I would love if they did that. I would really love it. But looks like just trying to go for the more sure thing in Asura.
The more sure thing, you said.
Yeah, the more sure thing.
PK continues to chew through these gauntlet fights. None of them really posing any damage, danger at this point, but it's just a little bit of an annoyance in terms of how much time it takes to go through each one. But that's 5 of them. Gets the tower key out of it.
Yeah, the downside to this, of course, is that now PK is definitely going to do the rest of the tower, which is, we know, not going to yield anything, and it takes quite a while because you have to beat the boss and walk all the way out.
On the plus side, at least for PK, is that he does have access to where the pink tail is, as we now know. It's in Baron Basement, and that's probably going to be one of the checks that he's going to make soon after clearing out Tower.
Yeah, probably the next check, just because it's faster than going to the moon.
Or going back down to Feymarch and taking out the karate fight.
Yeah, the downside is that PK still needs to do a little bit of a grind. Still needs some more levels.
Especially with this party configuration, if he's going to want to do a full reflect strats. It could be possible that he just wants to go and do sort of a modified reflect strats, take your get a lot of star veils in everyone, and just let Z reflect himself to reflect the nukes off the Z that casts as the main circuit damage. So we'll see what happens. It's also on the table.
That's the very, very easy tower fight done. Penguin8r is doing pretty well against Asura.
At this point, with these levels, Asura really doesn't provide much of a challenge, especially if you're going to be reflecting off, white spells and nuke spells. Although you do have to keep your wall up, unfortunately.
Yeah, these things happen.
And PK is going to be completing the walk down here and getting the bad news. Your progression is in another castle.
Probably, if I were him, I would just reset.
Penguin8r is continuing to use these reflect strats on Asura, which is a very smart thing to do because reflected damage does not trigger Asura's counter spell or counter punches, and especially also if you do have the wall up, of course. Reflecting the spell off is really the only way to hit him with the spells.
And there's a ribbon, which we knew it wasn't going to be the Legend Sword, so a little disappointing. Good XP though.
Absolutely, to be honest, it's a nice item, of course, as well.
Yeah, that is very true. It looks like PK is doing his grind now. Gonna get up to the levels. Probably wants to get Nuke on Palom before they're ready. So yeah, this is a very close race. This is extremely close. All Penguin8r needs to do to get in the go mode is to go beat CPU, and then do Zot. And all PK has to do is go into Baron Castle and beat the Evil Wall. And this is still anyone's game.
That is absolutely correct, especially because I think the path before Penguin8r is a little more straightforward than the path before PK. I think you go down there, you still have that boss spot down there to take out, and now you can pretty much take it out with ease with these levels. PK has a couple of options that I think are sort of on the same level as the fight in Baron, and if he wants to go down and fight Karate and Feymarch, that's, I think, another possibility at this point. So it's not guaranteed that PK will find the right path at this moment. We shall soon see where he's going. Looks like Feymarch.
Yeah, so this is potential catch up for Penguin8r here. Oh, he hasn't done Wyvern yet. He's going to do that now. So, you first.
Sorry, I was just saying, I think this does make sense because it's a quicker walk and it's theoretically an easier fight. Since you have the timing right and all the power right now, rather than walking down and taking care of CPU down in the bottom of the subterranean.
So yeah, we know that this karate is unfortunately not going to yield anything too good, but it's still a check, and with two nukes, probably get through it fairly quickly.
Right, Penguin8r finds his Excalibur, and no Cecil yet this seed, and probably never will be. We do know that PK is going to wind up getting 17 out of 17, since we know we do find the pink tail in the Baron Inn. So unless he does something strange and finds Leviathan, he's going to get a full clear of the seed.
Always a great time.
And likewise for Penguin8r, he's going to find the Earth Crystal, presumably. Going to find that Legend Sword after getting through the Tower of Zot, and will also be at 17 out of 17, although he is going back to the Earth.
Moonveil would have been nice earlier in the seed, especially against that Mom Bomb, but PK just resets, not going to even bother.
Absolutely, there are a couple of boss spots where you definitely would have liked that Moonveil, but at this point, you've got so much power in your party, you can take on anything. It looks like PK now is parking outside of Baron, and I think it's going to be very pleased in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, and I think Penguin8r is going to fight the two bosses in Feymarch, because Penguin8r did not actually beat Mylon and friends earlier, because there's two items down there, so that's probably what he assumes the best choices for him.
It's one of those unfortunate realities of making your routing is that, yeah, 2 is better than 1, and you think you have 2 shots of finding the item that you want down here. And unfortunately for him, we know that the actual correct progression is going to be up there on the moon on that CPU spot.
Yeah, no, we've got PK. He's starting at his battle up against the evil wall. Shouldn't be a problem at his levels. Yeah, this evil wall is just going to be evil rubble soon.
I don't think we're going to find Leviathan, but I would have loved to know where it was all this time, because I think the only spots left to check are Package Boss, King Queen Evelyn spot, and the Giant.
That's correct. It's one of those 4 spots, and yeah, it could very well be in the Giant, because that's 2 spots right there. So while we're doing this, I just wanted to mention everyone. Especially thank you to our tracker today, Tibble, and our restreamer, Gundam Pilot Spaz, and of course, special thanks to Twisted Flax here. He's helping me out. This is my first commentary on a restream here.
And shout out to Cappy, who is doing an excellent job keeping up with the restream, and we hope that we see you on plenty more in the future.
Yeah, and make sure you follow everyone, and follow the runners too, because they are playing out of their minds today.
This has definitely been the kind of seed that can frustrate you easily, just because you feel like you're so close, and you feel like you're making the wrong decision after the wrong decision. And now PK has go mode, and I don't know if he feels like he's ahead or behind at this point, because it could have been the case where your opponent found everything 20 minutes ago, and is just right now cleaning up Z. So I'm sure he's happy that he's in go mode, or will soon to be in go mode once he gets that pink tail turned in. But I'm sure he's sweating bullets right now.
Yeah, the once you get to an hour 47 minutes and nobody's done, you start to go, oh boy, I'm really behind.
Especially because there were some nasty rabbit holes to fall into in the seed. You had the Feymarch bosses tempting you. You had Tower tempting you. There were just so many places where you feel like you could have wasted time, but were actually absolutely the right thing to do at the time. So now that it's all said and done, PK has a full inventory with 17 out of 17. I'm sure he's just ready to get to Z and get it over with.
Yeah, he's got his levels about as well as he wants. It looks like a reflect kind of battle, and yeah, he's got the pass. So we can skip that 3-minute walk.
Speaking of 3-minute walks, here's penguin8r looking like he's heading back down. This is absolutely the right play in this situation because we know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, I think this is actually the only play left to him, unless he goes on a Leviathan hunt. I'm starting to see some flags.
Z. It says Z. I guess we have been running a little late, so maybe we are feeling a little tired. Want to take a nap? I don't mind.
Yeah, as those of you who don't know, we randomize pretty much everything except for Zeromus. He is too big, too powerful, too strong, too awesome to be put anywhere else. So instead, we twist things up a little bit and give him one of our many sprites. So I guess the question tonight, do you want to take it?
It's your first time. I think you have the honors.
All right. Whose butt are we going to kick tonight? Also, is it cute? Of course.
Well, yeah, that's the most important question, obviously.
Yeah, speaking of Z sprites, we actually saw pk4787's Z sprite in a race that I tracked the other day, and pretty good one.
Out comes the crystal. We have true colors emerging, and those true colors will show.
Dr. Doom.
I've never found him cute, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great sprite, but I agree, not cute.
And as always, shout out to Shala Kitty, who does the artwork for these Z sprites and does an amazing job getting them into the format to be shown on a Final Fantasy IV Super Nintendo palette. This is excellent work.
It looks like we are full reflect. Kane is just going to hang out there.
And it looks like penguin8r is opting for reflect strats on the CPU here. Not reflect strats, sorry, float strats. Lucky the float there, and it's going to be trying to use Quake to take out the CPU.
I like it. We got a big bang. It was nerfed. And yeah.
Yeah, I was about to think that Fu might survive there, but just is 9 HP short of survival.
Yeah, we'll have to get him back up, but we got to be getting fairly close now. They've been pumping out the damage with those nukes and whites.
Well, penguin8r is going straight for now the Berserk strats and incurring the wrath of Global 99, but I don't think he'll mind too much. I think he'll be getting through CPU pretty soon here. And there goes down CPU, and penguin8r is well on his way to clearing the seed.
Yep, to get that party rock and get to do that Zot check. But look at that, we have a shake over on pk4787's side, so it is his seed. He is the winner with a time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 8 seconds.
GG to PK, that is win number 1 in his column. Obviously, with the way that the tournament is formatted, since he had a worse record in the Swiss format than penguin8r did, he has to win 2 matches to advance, while penguin8r only had the 1. So this evens them up, puts it to a winner-takes-all race that will be happening in the next couple of days.
Yeah, let's see if we can get PK in here to do a little interview. Speaking of, there we are. PK, congratulations, GG.
Thank you. That was, it's always fun when you beat everything in the game.
So as the seed was going on, as you got past the hour mark, hour 15, hour and a half, were you feeling the heat that you might be well behind?
I mean, at about 1:30 is when I start to sweat when I'm racing these. But when that Earth Crystal led to Adamant, I kind of felt okay about that. My CPU fight was bad. But Leviathan was out there somewhere. I was fading that Asura spot in order to, maybe make back time there. Because that's just a really frustrating fight. But yeah, by about 1:40, after Luca and Tower Gauntlet into Tower Key into nothing didn't pay out, I was not not pleased.
Yeah, that was really something there. That tower into just a huge time waste.
Yeah, I mean, my other options were bosses I had already seen. It didn't feel like the worst play because it's really not a terrible gauntlet. But I mean, when that gives you absolutely nothing, and when it's top of tower gives Tower Key, Pengu's probably not going there. So that felt like, okay, that's several minutes that I'm giving up.
Actually, Pengu did that fairly early on in the seed. Did the whole tower grind while you were going up to the moon.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm glad I put it off. I was just saying in the race room or somewhere else, I would have done that Barren Basement right after Earth Crystal if it wasn't for those boss checks that I hadn't already made. I knew that was Evil Wall, so Luca and Top of Tower were both boss checks and key item checks. But man, it feels bad. When I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm probably losing still. But somehow it turned out great. GG's to Pengu. This puts us at 1-1 career in tournaments.
But also puts you at 1-1 in this specific bracket stage. You were coming in tonight with a game disadvantage, and you wipe that off. So how does it feel going into a pivotal match 2 against penguin8r in the near future?
Well, this is, once I make the brackets, I typically see it as house money. So, win or lose, Pengu's a great guy. I've absolutely no qualms getting knocked out. But, it would be nice to move forward. I thought he got that win was because he beat me in ZZ3 in the Swiss rounds. But even up, winner go home next round. So I'm looking forward to it.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about was when you went up Tower of Zod, you saw that Fu and you traded him out from the Yang, and opting to go reflect strats there. Can you talk us through your thought process about that? Because I thought it was a rather interesting move.
reflect strats are, infinitely faster. And I had the sirens where I knew I was going to be able to, get the XP to get up to nuke. And I also had the cane with the Dragoon Spear. So I had just sort of a hold A to grind on those eggs. So once I saw that, I thought, okay, I'm still not in go mode. And I would I might as well just get nuke and white because my remaining boss checks or my remaining, checks at this point would all be very much faster if I can just nuke whoever it is down. So it was, I was surprised. I said out loud to myself when it happened, I did not think I was going to be going reflex strats in this Z fight, but there you are.
Yeah, and very well done as well, doing the reflex strats as well. I just had one last question for you. Were you ever tempted on with the defeat Leviathan out there? We never did find Leviathan. Were you ever tempted on looking at some of the stranger spots like the package spot or the giant, maybe the first boss spot there? Were you ever tempted to take a peek at those spots?
When I came down from Moon, if I hadn't found the legend sword from that earth crystal check, there might have been the thought of, okay, I have the package, I have the hook, but after I had that, I was one key item away, and it was one of those, all the checks I made, Luca, top of tower, it was just sort of slowly eliminating actual key item locations. So at some point it was, I think, faster to just 17 out of 17 the seed than it was to specifically, go giant and have that not work out, or go king queen Evelyn or package and have that not work out. So, in some situations, I would have totally been up there on the giant, but the character check was done. I completed so much of the seed already that I figured, you know what? All right, here we go.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. But still, I'm curious. I wonder where that Leviathan ended up.
I will consider checking. I'll probably face check package and king queen once, or at some point. Although I'm not that curious. That might just remain a mystery for the duration.
After a 2 hour seed, I don't blame you.
Yeah, that was a gauntlet for sure. That's when you're racing someone as good as penguin8r, you never feel safe regardless of how well things go, but you certainly don't feel safe when you have to clear that much of a seed. We are scheduled, I think, Saturday, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to tune in and catch the finale. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tybalt, for tracking Gundam. I mean, thank you, but also, I would have liked to have been done 30 minutes prior to this. And Kathy and Twisted Flax, I'm looking forward to watching this back and hearing you discuss my slow demise.
It was very entertaining to watch, and you guys both played a heck of a seed. GG's, and best of luck tomorrow in the decider.
Yeah, good luck.
Much appreciated. You take care.
You too.
And we've got penguin8r. He's on his Dr. Doom right now.
And we see a slight bit of diversion here. He did not choose to take that foo, and so he's going to go with more traditional berserk and probably a bit of a reflect with the Palom as well.
Yeah, a little bit early on that first nuke, unfortunately. And Tella wants to join the party. He's gonna get in there. Little virus.
Get that Big Bang nerf that way, and Kane has more than enough hit points to take that nuke. No problem there.
Yeah, look at the HP values on Yang and Kane. They could survive an unnerfed Big Bang and still be shrugging that off. Yeah, we got lots of levels. This shouldn't be too tough of a fight for penguin8r.
Not at all, not at all. And the only issue I can see happening is if for some reason penguin8r opts not to heal after Big Bang and then gets a Big Bang Meteor combo platter, that might be enough to get off that gang. But I mean, that gang has 5,000 hit points. It's going to take a lot to bring him down.
I think that's like meteors are like maybe 1,000. So, oh boy, it's going to be hard to take out a Yang. Oh, we're seeing a unicorn too. I'm not sure.
Oh well, we're taking out the berserkers, and we're through the rest of this and reflect. Try to get this done before the HP refill. And if penguin8r has calculated this out correctly, and I have no reason to believe he hasn't, I want to say this nuke's good enough to do it.
Probably just a tiny bit short.
Yeah, this is a very clever strategy to try to get through that first part of the fight as fast as possible, but then stop it before you cause the tip, and then do the rest of the damage through reflection. And there is the crack, the boom, the shake. penguin8r has finished. Time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, 7 seconds. GG to penguin8r.
GG.
We'll see if he wants to discuss this seed with us.
I mean, you know, it was such a jet seed. I understand. Just want to be like, oh yeah, that was easy.
No problems whatsoever.
All right, it looks like we are joined by penguin8r. GG, congratulations on finishing that. Whatever this was.
Thank you. It was certainly something. A bit different than most of the hard seeds I've had, in that there wasn't any like one thing that was really rough, but just there was no really easy path to proceed. And so just kind of running around scatterbrain, poking at different bosses, seeing where the weak point that would give me something was.
Definitely. The seed had more than a share of blind alleys to tempt you down. How did you feel going through it? Did you feel like you were really far behind or ahead at any point?
It's hard to say. I think the early game went pretty well. The Dwarf Castle wipe obviously hurt a lot. I think that was like 5+ minutes that I lost to that. And then, of course, everyone knows I hate doing the keyless tower play and then not really getting anything from it. That one hurts too, but it's hard to say. It was a pretty open seed and no clear path, I felt like. So it was, I think, still potentially it was up in the air up until the CPU was pretty much required. I had really just committed to not winning off that CPU.
Yeah, it was really tight up until the CPU, obviously. But is there a reason why you chose to be like, okay, this is the line right here?
I'm gonna have to rewatch. I think it was actually a bit of a mistake in that I did not realize I still needed 2 more objectives. Miscounted there a bit. So I was thinking that going back to Earth was a better option than it actually was. But at least the first time I was passing by the CPU, I wasn't that well set up. I could have done some flow reflect and then quake, but you're rolling the die on if you actually get the correct float, and then even then Palom wasn't that strong at that point.
Yeah, there were that moon was not very nice to both of you. But especially there were quite a few rabbit holes here. That power, what made you go there without the key?
There weren't a whole lot of options at that point. the moon was there, but I didn't feel quite ready. I think I was at 7 or 8 key items at that point, so I was hoping to get up to 10 before going to the moon. Yeah, mainly wanting to be able to get that double experience to get up on the moon. And I think it was generally the right choice. It's unfortunate that there was a gauntlet at the top of the tower, but as we saw the moon, I mean, even with a little bit of extra experience from the tower, the moon was still very rough.
No, I absolutely agree. I definitely think the keyless tower at that spot, especially because it didn't feel like you had the power required to really go to the moon with a lot of confidence, knowing that your planet was up there. So I completely agree with your action there.
Yeah. So you've got Game 3 coming up tomorrow. Are you ready?
Honestly, no, but I have I have half a day. I think we're scheduled for tomorrow at about midday my time. So I probably need to review this just to see what to adjust.
It was an excellent race, and you guys were neck and neck for a long time, and it just came down to basically just luck, because I mean, you could have easily have taken this win had the key items fallen more towards your routing.
Yeah, I'm definitely okay with the routing, but I'm sure there are a few just execution things that I can look at and clean up.
This one was very close. It really could have gone either way.
Do you have any more any last reflections on this seed, or we can sign it to the dustbin?
GG's to PK. I think I said before, PK possibly stands for Penguin Killer. So try to disprove that tomorrow.
Best of luck. I am really looking forward to seeing you guys square off one more time with winner take all. And that was our second place finisher, penguin8r. Again, as he mentioned, they will be playing their deciding race tomorrow at midday. Check out either the Enterprise channel or Randomania Family of Networks to see if we can get that coach. I really hope we can.
Yeah, and we're going to be signing off here soon because, well, I think that's it for the races today. But boy, this was a good one.
Absolutely, and it was a pleasure doing it with you, Cappy. And I again want to shout out the restreamer Gunpilot Spaz and the Tracker Tybalt. Both of you guys did an excellent job. Thanks for a great restream.
Yes, thank you too. Thank you to Twisted Flax as well. Thank you so much, especially because this is my first time. We're going to be signing off. We're going to be going over to Ultros, who's doing the supermarket sweep ladder race that's going on right now. So, go over, say hi.
Give them our best. Remember, no spoilers.
Yes.